Welcome back to the Flippin' Ain't Easy channel. My name is John, and I wanted to talk to you about liquidation. For those of you who've actually bought liquidation pallets in the past, a lot of you are going to maybe get a chuckle or even relate to a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about here in regards to liquidation and just some of the things we have to deal with when we buy these pallets. So without any further ado, let's go. So when we're talking about liquidation pallets, it's not everything that it's cracked up to be. You watch these extreme unboxing shows on A&E, and it doesn't truly represent what we have to deal with as resellers of liquidation. And so I wanted to kind of just talk to you about some of the things that we all can relate to if you've ever bought liquidation. And if you haven't, these are some of the things that you would need to look forward to dealing with at some point. So let's start with excessive labels and tape. I got to tell you, as a reseller, I have this love-hate relationship with tape. Tape tends to only want to stick to things I don't want it to stick to. And when I want it to stick to something, it just won't for whatever reason. It would rather stick to me than what I'm trying to tape it to. It drives me crazy. But when we receive a liquidation pallet, most of the time, most of these retailers, it seems like they train their employees to just use tape like it's going out of style. Your biggest offenders on this would be Walmart. And I've dealt with Amazon returns, Target returns, Walmart returns, and it's like they give their employees tape and just tell them, this is the first thing we're teaching you. Tape everything in sight and make sure that it is taped down to everything. And while you're at it, put these stickers on here and make sure that if anyone wants to take them off, they will be nearly impossible to get off of the package. A lot of your online Walmart customers will send back, they make them send back 2 different labels, and these are the toughest labels to get off of a package. And I'm going to show you right now what I'm talking about. This is an HP printer, okay? Came in one of the pallets, and they make these customers throw these stickers on, and you can just see just tape all over this box. You have the labeling that TRG who puts on. This is Direct Liquidation's packaging. They put 2 labels, a yellow and a blue, in addition to whatever Walmart does. And you have this sticker they require the customer to put on there. They have them put this sticker on there, and by the time it gets to you, it's a nightmare. And don't try to peel these off just without any help, because it's going to drive you crazy. And another thing, you always want to prep your packages before you take your photos. Don't leave those stickers on there. It doesn't look good. So what I do is get one of these little heat guns. They're like $10 to $15 on Amazon, and this one has lasted me forever. Don't use your wife's hair dryer or your hair dryer. Leave that for your hair. Buy the proper tools. This thing works really well. Gets fairly hot on the sticker, and it allows you to peel it up quite easily. And then when you have sticker residue, that's another thing. You peel these stickers off and it leaves this nasty gunk on the package. Well, most packages, you can use this goof off here and just spray a little bit and just rub it into the glue residue, and it'll come right out. And this works as well. You really, sales is about perception. And if you take photos of an ugly box like the one I showed you, this is the box that I tried to sell an item in, you get a lot of people clicking off and going to the next printer. Okay, so something like this, I would clean up all the stickers off of before putting it into a photo. Now, this particular box, I received a different printer in this box, and that's my next thing. When you're dealing with liquidation, you're not always going to get the item that you think you're going to get. You can be there looking at the pallet and seeing this box, and then you'll find out that it's not the same printer. Someone put their old printer in this particular box. So for me, that was just sort of a waste. The printer that they sent back, it had some value, but it's not the printer that should have been in this box. And you're going to find out when you buy liquidation, that manifest is going to be what this box says, not necessarily what that customer returns back to Amazon, Walmart, Target. All of them have this problem. I think more so on Amazon side, you see a lot of fraudulent returns, and that's what it is, a fraudulent return. I just got a fraudulent return the other day. And so it's happening. It's a sort of a rampant thing. And because customers aren't held to the fire when they do this kind of thing, and you can take all the photos you want, but ultimately the way eBay looks at it, it's a he said, she said thing, and they're not going to get involved. So it's no different with liquidation. If you are buying liquidation pallets, just know that, be prepared for that type of thing. And that's the swapping out of items. And then when you're dealing with these kind of things with liquidation, a lot of times you're going to be missing power cables, you're going to be missing essential pieces of this particular item, and it's going to lose value as well. So when you're buying a customer returns pallet, you're going to be dealing with that type of issue. And of course, these items may not work. With like direct liquidation, I even bought a grade A refurbished pallet of drones, and I'm not going to get out there and try to fly these things. I want to sell them in as good condition as I can, but I bought these drones last year from them, and I received, and I opened each one up, but I received drones that didn't have all the parts, and these are supposed to be grade A, and this is maybe something I should have put in my review with the direct liquidation review that I did here in this video. But even then, I'm expecting fully refurbished, fully functional drones, and they didn't come with all the accessories. So these are things that even on that end, when you have a company that's stating that they're refurbishing these items, it's not always going to work out for you. And I did contact them on this in all fairness, and they told me that I'd have to send back the ones that were incomplete. Well, one thing that they don't tell you, companies like Direct Liquidation, they don't pay for a return label. They make you send it on your dime, and I wasn't willing to do that, so I just parted out the drones that weren't complete. So a lot of times, and this is really more so with Amazon, but all the retailers have this issue as well. They, for some reason, allow customers to return items without the original packaging. So when the item is placed into a liquidation pallet, it comes to you without any packaging. And so that makes it difficult to try to determine what it is that you're actually reselling. Hopefully there's a model number on the tag on the bottom of the item, like if you're dealing with electronics. But sometimes you may not have a tag or original packaging. That's going to make it fairly difficult to be able to identify exactly what it is that you're selling. So that's another thing that you want to keep in mind. Now, for those of you who watched the unboxing video a couple months ago right there, you'll notice that I was looking for 3 processors in that pallet. They made up the bulk of the value in that particular pallet. Well, you're going to deal with missing merchandise. And like with direct liquidation, they did that to me on a number of occasions where I had the manifest expecting fairly expensive items, and they were MIA. And so it's happened. It's happened with liquidation.com. The reason why I continue to go through liquidation.com is because they are third-party liquidators, and they will back you up. If you have something that's missing in your pallet that's on the manifest but it's not in your box, you can dispute the pallet, and they took care of me, and I'm sure that they would be able to take care of you. And I'm not sponsored at all by liquidation.com, but I'm just sharing with you a positive experience that I had when that happened to me. And it only happened to me about 1 time out of about 40 lots that I bought from them. Sometimes you're going to receive items that you don't even know how to test. You've never seen before. This is why in my last video I talked about how it's good to deal with items that you are familiar with. So for instance, I received a large lot of unmanifested, and this is a pallet of unmanifested electronic items from Amazon, and I wasn't quite sure what I was getting. In fact, I saw a couple large boxes, and I was hoping that inside there were smaller boxes of, you know, electronics like hard drives and things like that. Because it's not manifested, you never know what you're going to get. So I picked up this pallet from liquidation.com. It was an Amazon pallet though, and these were all large boxes of water heaters, the tankless water heaters. And you know, I'm not going to disassemble my water heater, and I've never worked with a tankless water heater in my life to test it. So really, I had to sell these as untested items, but you're taking a risk because, you know, that customer can say, hey, it's not working, and it may not, and you have no way of knowing that. And so we're dealing with about a $30 to $40 return shipping label you're going to have to pay for on these $100 to $200 tankless water heaters. They have value, but they're a pain. And so items like that you're going to be dealing with if you're dealing with an unmanifested lot. So that's something that you want to consider before you get into buying these unmanifested pallets. For any of you who actually have watched this extreme unboxing show on A&E, there was one episode where they're expecting to receive these left-handed bows, and they instead received sunglasses, and they had the labels for bows on there. And so liquidators do this all the time, and it's a mistake, but sometimes you wonder if it's not intentional, because it's usually affecting their most expensive item. In this case, the bows were the most expensive item, and they put the wrong tag on these sunglasses, and it jacks up the MSRP. So instead of maybe expecting to spend, you know, $2,000 on this pallet with sunglasses in it, you spend $3,000 because you think you're getting bows. And so these are things that happen all the time, and the liquidators usually will not do anything to take care of you on that. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about that us resellers deal with when we're opening up these liquidation pallets is you are definitely going to come across merchandise that you decide I gotta have, and you're not going to relist it. And like the health and beauty stuff, it's like clockwork. I bring home, you know, a carload of these boxes of health and beauty, and my wife would be downstairs and she would be so eager to help me go through them. And she had an ulterior motive, and usually one full box of stuff would be upstairs because she wanted to have whatever. And so just know, and I'm not immune to that either. I've decided, you know, I like electronics, and I've decided on a number of occasions that I wanted to keep some pretty nice stuff. And I've been able to add to my computer, add to my video game collection, you know, all these different things, all because of liquidation pallets. So, you know, it's not all bad. There's times I've bought liquidation pallets because there's one item I really wanted to have in that pallet. I'd pick it up and then list the remaining items in the box, and I would pay for the entire lot, make some money, and that $200 or $300 item I'd get to keep. And so that's definitely a plus as well. So what do you think? Is this list complete? Are there any things that you come across when opening a pallet for resale that maybe I've missed here? Either good or bad, please leave your comments below. If you were entertained, or you liked this video, or maybe this information gave you some insight on whether or not you're going to buy a pallet, please leave a like, and please subscribe to my channel. I will be making another video here very soon because there's some information I want to talk to you about managed payments, and in a conversation I had with an eBay rep. So with that said, I want to wish you an excellent rest of your weekend, and until then, keep making sales, keep listing, and knock it out the park, and we'll talk to you later.